It was who was going to make the play first, and who else but Kirby, right? Oh, nice snag. And then finishes it up. Game changer. What a play. Lions add another feather to their cap this season as they now go on the road, defeating the Packers in a rain-soaked Lambeau field 24-14. Lions now standing at 7-1, their best start since 1956, and are in full control of the NFC. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Johnny Gaz. Thank you for returning for another video. The Lions brought their clean brand of football to the land of the cheese and came out victorious. Let's look at the highlights and go through our report card for this Week 9 victory in Green Bay. We'll go through the offense, defense, special teams, and coaching, all while looking at the highlights from this amazing Week 9 game. Let's go. Before we get out the cheese graters, make sure to hit that like button. If you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gaz Sports, it's the best free way to help out the channel. I'd also love it if you consider subscribing. We're just over 2,100 now, thanks to you guys. And if you hit that notify bell, you won't miss any future videos. I do have a membership option available. I do my live game play-by-play reactions, tier list, a ton of other fun stuff, but there is always free content here for you all the time. Make sure to comment down below. What did you think of this Week 9 victory in Lambeau? Jared Goff's performance, the running game, Kirby Joseph, the Brian Branch ejection. We'll get into all that here right now. Let's dive into this matchup. Let's dive right into these highlights, and as we get into it, I will start handing out my report card grade. Should be fun. Let's go. Lions-Packers for control of the NFC North. What a matchup this was. Elements playing a huge factor, and obviously Detroit, hasn't been historically good on the road. That has certainly changed in recent matchups, especially in Green Bay. Lions to this point had won their last two. We're looking for their third in a row in Lambeau in the conditions. Packers end up opening this game up with a long extended drive here, and actually exactly what they wanted to do here against the Lions. Have to keep their offense, the Lions offense, off the field. I thought they started off well. Jordan Love looked good in spurts here, and the rain hadn't started to really come down just yet. Josh Jacobs was really good early, and that speaks to what the Lions defense kind of did with him early on. And we know the Lions struggles here on the defensive line up front, getting pressure, getting sacks. And early on, they again, and that proved to be the thing throughout this entire game. They did not get to Jordan Love not once this entire game as far as a sack. I think they only hit him once. And the Packers open up this game well. Long extended drive. I'm sure they would have loved more than 3 points, but they do get the field goal going up 3-0 here. Lions take the ball over midway through the first quarter. That was a long drive for the Green Bay Packers. And as the Lions typically do, they open up with their run game. David Montgomery usually leads the charge for them early and often, and he did again here today. Connection, Sam Laporta, tight ends, they look good. So let's talk about the offense a little bit. I think we got to start with Jared Goff. He was fantastic in this game again, clean and efficient as always. Jared Goff finished 18 of 22 in this matchup for 145 yards and the touchdown, which we'll see here. Actually, it's going to occur right now on us. Perfect timing. What a throw and catch to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I love this celebration. Here we go, one more time. Boing! It's awesome every time. But Jared Goff, efficient all day. No turnovers. And in the elements, an elemental game where Goff gets a lot of, slack for not being as good as he typically is in the dome or, outside of the elements, he was really good today. That was Josh Jacobs' longest run of the day there. He was really good. The defensive line for the Lions, I would say to me, was their worst unit of the day. And again, it goes back to them just not really having an edge presence now anymore with Aiden Hutchinson being out. Marcus Davenport's no longer in the lineup. So they really struggle on the edges, and that showed here today. So getting back to the offense, I thought Jared Goff was great. I gave him an A- for this performance. The running backs combined, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, had 28 carries for 138 yards, a 4.9-yard average. There's the first sack and only sack given up by the Detroit Lions offensive line. Again, I thought they were good outside of this one sack. There were no penalties on that unit, the offensive line for the Lions. Their run game was working all day long. And again, I thought they were really good. There were some spots in the red zone where I thought they kind of lightened up a little bit. So for the offensive line, I gave them an A- grade for this performance against the Packers. At this point, it's 7-3 Lions here midway through the second quarter. And again, Josh Jacobs still doing work here in this first half. He was very good. Sticking on the defense here for the Lions, we talked about their defensive line. I gave them a C- grade. Again, they no sacks, the one quarterback hit. Green Bay was 23 rushes for 138 yards on the ground. We're seeing a lot of Josh Jacobs here early as they finish up this drive. There's a drop, and that was a big story of the day. 6 drops total for Green Bay in this matchup. No drops at all for the Lions. So again, just the difference in these teams here overall in this rainy Sunday matchup. Green Bay not able to capitalize. There's a missed field goal there. McManus, who's been relatively good this season, he missed. Lions still up 7-3 as they're closing out the second half. Amon-Ra St. Brown has caught his last 30 passes from Jared Goff. No incompletions in their last 30 attempts. That's incredible. Goff just continuing his clean and efficient day. Again, the running backs, I gave them a grade of A-. The wide receivers, talking about the Sun God, he had 7 catches for 56 yards and the touchdown. You know, with the weather and the scheme, I don't think they used a lot of the other wide receiver weapons, so it was really the Amon-Ra St. Brown show. You see Allen Robinson here got involved. That was his first catch as a Lion, so that's good to see. We know the JMO suspension still played a part here. He was out in this matchup against Green Bay. They expect him back against the Texans, so hopefully they'll get more production on their wide receivers, but that room I gave a grade of A, really on the back of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Tight end, Sam Laporta had 2 receptions for 28 yards. We saw that reception from him. Shane Zylstra worked himself into the offense in that kind of fullback hybrid role. So the tight ends, I gave a grade of an A- there. Overall for the offense, I thought they also deserve an A-. They were good all day. They were clean. They were efficient. The run game worked. They weren't as... Here's the Kirby interception, which we let in on. Just the game-changing play right here, no doubt. Let's take a look at that one more time. I think it's worth another look. Let's pause it here. This is the game-changing play to me. In an elemental game like this, and at this point it's only 10-3 Lions. Obviously, the game is well up in the air. Packers, with 42 seconds left in the first half, are trying to make something happen. They did get a couple plays here and started to get a drive going, but unfortunately, Jordan Love made the mistake of this football game, and the Lions were able to capitalize this. Now, this is after the Brian Branch ejection. Unnecessary roughness, which then from the New York office they called down, and they end up kicking him out of that football game. You can argue whether or not that was a warranted decision. I think the hit certainly was worth the flag, yes. Everything past that we can discuss, but the Lions were able to overcome it, and a big part of that was this play. So Kirby Joseph finds himself here in kind of a strong safety role. Brandon Joseph is playing the free safety of the single high, and Jordan Love finally gets a little bit of pressure. You'll see from Alex Anzalone and some of the front here. It's one of the only times the Lions are able to get pressure, forcing a bad pass from Jordan Love, and Kirby completes the play and really flips this game. Gets a little pick screen from Onwuzurike on the way to the end zone, and Joseph caps it. Lions go up 17-3, and that's the end of the first half score. Again, that was a huge play to end the half, gave Lions all the momentum as they end the first half. Now we enter the second half of play here. Lions will have another good drive here, ending in another 4th down conversion with Jahmyr Gibbs. Lions scored 2 touchdowns on 4th down plays here in this game. Again, showing that Dan Campbell aggressive style, paying off again here on the road in Lambeau. Everything kind of working for the Lions at this point. Within reason, obviously, with the elements and what's going on here. Little slip there by Jahmyr Gibbs, but he was off and running. Again, the Sonic and Knuckles combination, those two guys are fantastic. The way they play off each other, there's no selfishness in that running back room. And every game, they're coming up with something different in a way to help this team win. And they did so again here. Let's go back to the defense. We talked about the defensive line, their lack of production. Let's talk about the linebackers for the Lions. Here's the touchdown for Gibbs, 15 yards on a 4th down play, which puts the Lions up 24-3 here and in complete control of this football game. Going back to the defense, again, the linebackers, I thought were good for the Lions. I think their tackling skills are second to none. Between Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, Jalen Reeves-Maven, those guys, there are no yards after catch. There's really limited production over the middle outside of, Green Bay being able to make some plays. After that, the tackling is just really, really good. I think they have some depth issues. They know with Derek Barnes being out, they had Malcolm Rodriguez out this week as well. They were very limited in their depth pieces, so I thought the linebackers held up well. I gave them a grade of B+ in this matchup here. Little pressure on Love there. That was a good throw and catch there to Jaden Reed. And that connection was there, with the fact that now Green Bay was kind of needing to claw back in this game. They did have to throw the football around a little bit, and Jordan Love was able to do so. 270+ passing yards on the day. And that leads me to the Lions' secondary performance. I gave them a grade of B. We talked about the Brian Branch ejection early on in the second quarter, which really could have derailed this team. We know they're already without Aiden Hutchinson. Well, now being without Brian Branch, that could have really hurt them, and it didn't in this football game. McManus does make a 38-yard field goal here, bringing it to 24-6 at this point as they're getting to the end of the third quarter. But again, Lions secondary, I gave a grade of B. They gave up 273 yards to Jordan Love. They were also aided by those 6 drops that you see there for the Packers. That was really a big situation. Packers in general just didn't play clean. I think they had 10 penalties, over 100 yards worth of penalties, all the drops, the big turnover. I mean, those are the ways you lose football games, especially to a good team here like the Lions.
Up to the 36, so a 4th down, and they've got to go here.
The Packers are having to push the ball. Here's a good throw and catch there, even with Enos Rakestraw. Good coverage. I think that was the biggest pass play of the day there to Jaden Reed. Let's talk about the Lions special teams here a little bit. Jake Bates was 1 for 1 in his field goal of 27 yards, 3 for 3 on his extra point, so he remains very good on the season. Jack Fox, the Lions punter, remains fantastic. He had a 50-yard average on his 4 punts and flipped the field several times early in this game here to help the Lions, and he does that, it seems like, every single week. There was really limited returns. The return coverage was good for the Lions, so overall I gave their special teams a grade of an A- for this game. There's another drop for the Packers at this point. Now, it is midway through the fourth quarter. Does that ultimately make the difference? No, but, there were just so many drops that really hurt them. Tough 4th down play, and they don't get it here. Lions end up getting a stop and getting the ball back. And that was really it. Lions still willing to pass the football here late in the fourth quarter, up 24-6. Obviously, the connection between Goff and St. Brown working all day, even with the weather. Lions put themselves in a tough spot here, 3rd and long. They get what they can out of it and have to punt the ball back to Green Bay here for another stand. Let's talk about the coaching for the Lions here as this kind of starts to wrap up. I thought the coaching was fantastic. They were obviously ready to play here in Green Bay with all the elements, everything else going on. Clearly, they were ready to go. Operating without Hutch, without Brian Branch, to be able to overcome those things and maintain their level of play and really dominate teams here for the last 6 weeks, it's impressive. They've put themselves in a position where they currently are the best team in the NFL. I don't know, between them and the Chiefs, a couple other teams, I mean, it's a hard argument. The Lions, I think, are playing the best brand of football of all teams in the NFL, and it's really showing here. Green Bay does get their garbage touchdown on the ground as they start to mount a comeback. They are not able to get the onside kick here after this successful 2-point conversion, and that pretty much does it for the scoring. The Lions winning this game 24-14. But again, I thought the coaching was really good. Both offensive touchdowns came on 4th down plays, again supporting that aggressive style, especially on the road, division, a lot of things playing against you there, and they maintain that. This is the 3rd straight road win against the Green Bay Packers, something the Lions haven't done since the 1986 to 88 seasons, and that's really incredible. Again, like I said, Lions off to their best start at 7-1 since 1956. Jared Goff playing the most efficient football in the NFL. He's on a 6-game pace that has just not existed before. It's hard to think that these Lions can keep this up, but they were fantastic in this game against Green Bay. Again, they end up winning this football game 24-14. Let's quickly recap. The Lions' offense against Green Bay I thought was clean and efficient. Jared Goff continuing his efficient masterpiece that is the 2024 NFL season. Sonic and Knuckles off and running yet again. The offensive line holding strong. The Lions really played well considering the elements on the road in a divisional game in Green Bay. Again, their third victory in a row in Lambeau. I overall gave the offense the grade of A- here against the Packers. There really wasn't much to nitpick, and again, with the elements, they were up against it. The defense, I'm giving an overall grade of B. I thought the defensive line held up, but they are clearly missing an edge rusher. The Lions are now within 24 hours of the trade deadline as of the making of this video, so we will see what, if any, move they make here as they get into this trade deadline, and then of course head into next week. So again, the defense, I have a grade of B. Special teams, I gave the grade of A-, and coaching a grade of A. Overall, I thought the Lions were fantastic in Green Bay. Again, they are in complete control of the NFC North, and they are the top seed in the NFC as it stands currently, and in my opinion, are currently playing the best football in all of the NFL. That will do it for our Week 9 highlight review and report card. Make sure to hit the like button if you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gaz Sports. I'd love it if you consider subscribing to the channel. We're just over 2,100 thanks to you guys. And if you hit that notify bell, you won't miss any future videos. That little blue join button on any one of my videos will walk you through how you can become a part of the family. I do all my live game play-by-plays, tier lists, a ton of other fun stuff. More than anything, though, I want to make sure you take care of yourself and your mental health. That is most important. Comment down below. What do you guys think of this Week 9 matchup against the Packers, this victory in Lambeau, 24-14, the wet conditions, the Brian Branch ejection? What do you expect to see for the Lions as they head Week 10 out to Texas to face the Houston Texans? Should be a fun week ahead. Thank you guys so much for your time. Go Lions.